Don't tell the area.
Okay, we're at an old building.
Train depot.
Train depot from
Early 1900s.
it's probably the early 1900s. This building dates back to, and if you look over here, you see the old money changing. This is where where they took the money for your train ride, and the train tracks are right outside. And the city manager allowed us to come in here and look around. And I just mentioned to my friend, we should look down in this hole. You know, this is the area where they took the money on this side and this side. And I said, you know, we might find something and change. And so we've been, with what we could find, we're trying to screen this dirt. And we found, the first, right off the bat, he found a mercury dime. Can you get that out? I'm going to get that out and I'm going to show it to you. We haven't got it. I'm going to back up a little bit. We haven't got a date off of it yet. That's probably the back side. Flip it over. Let's bring it over here by the light.
The date's on the front, actually.
Yeah. But you can definitely see that it's a mercury dime. And that so, he found that within, what, 30 seconds?
Yeah.
30 seconds. I said, you know, they would drop change on the floor here, and it would roll down in these cracks. And I said, you know, we should dig that and see if we can find any change. And right off the bat, he found, since that, I'll show you over here, we found these 3 pennies. And I know you can't see it, but this one right here is a wheat leaf. This is a memorial. And this one's so crusted, I haven't found out what that is. We'll take that home and clean it up and try to figure out what it is. But, you know, we're hunting here with permission, and we're just kind of basically looking for any holes in these baseboards. As you can see, they're really old, ornate flooring. And we find little holes like this, little cubby holes. That's just a block of wood right there. It's about 2 inches thick, and underneath it there's some dirt, and then there's another hole, some sort of a trap or whatever. You see out here is the main room. And, you know, like door sills right there that you could look in and everything. I think we're going to try and come back here. We bring some decent digging tools and things and maybe check it out. I don't know. You know, back in behind these little baseboards down here is where you'd find all the change, you know. You can see that this is one of the money exchangers, and if you could get down in behind that, down into that wall right there is where all the coins would fall. And I might even try and get bold enough to ask him if I can, you know, pry on some of these and open it up. They may not let me, but it never hurts to ask. This is an old place, old train station. You never know until you ask, and we asked, and he actually just handed us the key. He said, go ahead and look. We asked him if we could look around outside. We're actually looking for areas to metal detect. You can see the train tracks out there, and that's where it goes. I want to metal detect this as soon as the ground thaws. You know, people stood out here by the scores, coming from Detroit, coming from Flint, and see, there's a bunch of places where we could dig for coins down in these cracks. All this dirt and stuff. People don't check that. We could screen it out. I give a shout out to Nugget Knot for showing us old abandoned houses that he screens out, and that's what kind of gave me the idea. Here's another place where you definitely could screen that and check it out. This is an old fireplace right here, up behind there, but up here you can see the black on the wall up there, and then you can see the where the old vent was, and the ornate goes right up to the roof, and that's how they did things back in the day. They didn't spare any expense, and they used the great trim. It was really something. Here's the old public drinking fountain. You can see that drinking fountain by itself is old. That's old school there. Ceramic. And this was the men's room for the train station. Look at these oversized doors. They're like 7-foot doors. We'll let you know if we find anything else. But so far we got a mercury dime and 3 pennies. At least one of those is a week. Okay, these are the 3 pennies that I got from the rail station. The one on the right, I know you're not going to be able to read them on this camera, so I'll just tell you what they are. The one on the right is a 1975 or 6 memorial. The one in the middle is a 1928 wheat leaf penny, and the one on the left, as you can see, I just barely got some of the copper to show, and it's very indistinguishable. I can't even tell if it's a Lincoln cent or an Indian head penny or what it is. The tarnish, along with like little bits of sand, are like ingrained and adhered right to it. So if there's any YouTubers out there that know how to get that off with still being able to see the face of the coin, I'm pretty sure it's some sort of a penny. Please let me know. I did try white vinegar and salt, and I soaked it for about 8 minutes, and that didn't touch it hardly. I tried baking soda, rubbing it with my fingers, and you know, the only headway I was able to make is that little area you see there in the center. So I don't have a tumbler. I think that would be like the next step. Maybe I can take it to my brother-in-law and have him tumble it, and I still don't know if that would show what it is. I'll pick it up here. As you can see, the back is really toasted. I mean, it's just, and it feels like a high grit sandpaper. And this side is, sorry, my cat's moving my hand. Hey, buddy. It's I don't know. I don't know what it is. It's a mystery coin, but my friend got the mercury dime and I got these 3, and I was happy to get this 1928. You can barely see the Lincoln on the front. It was down in there, I think, a long time, underneath the floor, and some sand and dirt and grime and crusted up, but maybe there you can just barely make out the wheat leaves. But it's a 1928, so it was a pretty exciting hunt. When he pulled that mercury dime out, right after we had mentioned, you know, you might find a mercury dime right in there, and it wasn't 30 seconds later he pulled out a mercury dime. So I give a shout out to Nugget Noggin for some of his digs, showing him digging out old abandoned buildings and stuff around the edges and where coins might fall in, and that's sort of the strategy I thought of when I looked at this old place, and sure enough, this is the result of just maybe less than maybe a half hour of digging it, and we didn't fully dig it. All we had was a plastic spoon and a putty knife. So hopefully if we get access to this place again, we're going to go in there with some better tools and see what we can do. But anyway, thanks for looking, and this is the result. Okay, here's an update. It occurred to me that this penny on the left here was pretty much fried, as you saw in the previous part of the video. And so I took it out to the barn and I put it very so lightly on the wire wheel. And I know, you know, you're saying, well, you probably destroyed the value of it, but whatever. It's a 1929 plain Lincoln Wheatie. So I got a 1928, the one in the middle, the 1929, the one on the left that was so crusted up. And it came out pretty well. Here's the back side. Didn't come out quite as well, but you can see, at least you can see the wheat leaves now and everything. And it's weedy. Whereas this one's still pretty crusted up. And this one, I believe, is a 75. It's either 75 or 76, but 28 and 29, and so they've been in there a long time. You know, even if they were lost in there in the 30s, they're still, you know, 60 some years in that area. And probably moisture and humidity, even though it was like the center part of the building, you know, a little bit of wet, a little bit of dry, caused it to oxidize and you know, actually adhere the little granules of sand and whatever that was in there. You look at it under a jeweler's loupe, it was just, I mean, crusted on there, and the only way to get it off was to put it on that wheel. And you know, I'm kind of happy with the outcome. Destroy the value or not, it's at least you can see what it is now. I know what it is. I'm not wondering if it was you know, an Indian head penny or just or even a token or whatever. You couldn't tell what it was. So now I know. 1929, 1928, and a 75. And I'm hoping to hear back from my buddy on what year the Mercury dime is. I haven't got that information yet, but as soon as I get that, if he's supposed to send me a picture, I'll try and put it on here. So thanks for watching. Hope this entertained you a little bit.